Hello and welcome to Smile TV. I'm Porsha Evans and my very special guest live in studio with me today from Smile is the project director for the RSVP program. Please help me welcome Miss Susannah Malbreaux. Welcome, Susannah, to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Porsha.
It is good to have you here today to talk about our seniors in the community, what the RSVP program means to Smile, because I do want to let people know everywhere that despite the things that have happened so far at Smile, we're continuing to provide services in many areas from the agency, from Smile, and this is one of the agencies. This is one of the programs within the agency where our senior citizens and our elders can get involved. And I love this program. So tell me how long you've been with the agency and tell me a little bit about what you do.
Okay, Porsha, thanks so much, and hello to your viewing audience. Just to let you know, it's the RSVP stands for the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program. And I came on board, it's a little over a year, to basically run the program, and it was interesting to come on board because finding out about the program, you can be retired or you can still be working, but for the most part, folks need to be 55 years or older. So I can relate to that. So as I started getting into the program, finding out more about it, I knew I needed to reach out to folks in the community that are 55 years and older.
Get some of that wisdom.
Get some of that wisdom, and that's one of the things about the program. The volunteers with the RSVP program do just that. There are other programs that are through Senior Corps, and RSVP is a part of Senior Corps, funded partially by CNCS, which is the Corporation for National and Community Service. But being a part of that Senior Corps brand, our organization are just volunteers who volunteer from their heart. I like to call them volunteer jewels. There are other programs through Senior Corps where the volunteers get stipends. So this one's a little different. The volunteers pretty much decide where in the community they'd like to volunteer.
And there are a lot of areas, right?
There's a lot of areas, and those are, as we're right now in the midst of our volunteer recruitment campaign to bring more volunteers on board. It's also about bringing more what we call workstations. Those are the organizations and companies that volunteers will go out into the community and volunteer. Some of them, like I said, they're nonprofit, 501c3, or if they could be hospitals, but mostly as far as nonprofits, they'd have to be a 501c3. They don't volunteer in the corporations.
Okay.
They'll volunteer like in nonprofits and those type organizations who usually don't have the manpower to conduct the services and programs that they need. Like in some cases, like even with Smile and Smile Homework Center, volunteers can come into the homework center and help the young folks with tutoring, helping them with their homework, things along that particular line. Yeah. And being an RSVP volunteer, that individual decides how many hours per day, how many hours per week they'd like to volunteer. So there's no stress. One of the main things about the program, the volunteering keeps that individual active.
And that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
As we age and get older, I can't see myself just not doing anything, nothing. I can't just see myself retiring and not having something to do.
Well, and that's the key thing, Porsha. You said, if you've worked all your life, I mean, for as long as you've wanted to work and have been involved in the community, when you get to that retirement age, you're not ready to stop.
Right.
You want to keep going and you want to keep active. And again, it helps to prolong your life. So the beauty about RSVP is for the folks that have in fact retired, they can look to volunteer in an area where their career was, or they can go into a whole new field. they could end up learning new skills.
Now let's talk about some of the stations where volunteers are used and are needed.
Well, and I've got several of them. In fact, we've got about 26.
Really?
But yeah, in fact, as we were having our advisory council, and just to let you know, with RSVP, we have an 18-member advisory council where those are volunteers that come in and help guide and give some directions and give some insight into what they would like to see the program, get involved in, different activities and what have you. But in our last advisory council meeting, several of the members were indicating about United Christian Outreach. That's one of the folks, the places where the volunteers go. They'll prepare meals for the seniors, and they had just indicated that they were shorthanded. So they're in need of some additional volunteers.
Okay.
One of the other places is Mary House, Lafayette Convention and Visitors Commission. In fact, they just got new volunteers there, and these individuals go into the tourist center.
Really?
Yeah, so they're there Monday through Saturday, from 8 to I think 4:30 in the afternoon, and they alternate shifts because, as I indicated earlier, they pretty much decide how many hours they want to work. But once they make that commitment, that company is basically, relying on them
Depending
to
on
report at that particular time.
Now, what would you do at the tourist center?
Hand out information about the city. If there are different events going on, they let people know about what's going on, so they stay abreast. And if you've ever been in that tourist center, there's so much information about what's going on in Lafayette, but not just Lafayette, Louisiana,
Right.
for the most part. One of the other areas with tourism is Jean Lafitte Center. In fact, we have one volunteer that's been there for a number of years, and he practically volunteers full-time.
Really?
Yeah, he puts in about 7-8 hours a day. So he enjoys it, and what he gets out of that is getting to meet people from other countries, other cities, folks that are coming in to tour the city. They provide them with information and directions, on where to go in the city. So there's a lot that they can do. The Greenhouse, the Lafayette Senior Center, there we have, most of the folks are part of AARP.
Okay.
And they get together with a number of different things, volunteering, but they've pretty much formed like a little family, because they'll have bingo, they'll have different events. They get together, they meet, they deliver, food to the community. Lots of things they do there. So anybody that's part of, their AARP chapter can be a part of their group.
Now, did I read somewhere that some of our volunteers actually go to the classrooms?
Yes, they can. They can go into the schools. Now, we have to have the partnership with the schools. In fact, I was talking to, with the Ed Sam school there. They're planning to, we're going to partner, and I was indicating to Ms. Dion that if they need someone to go into the classroom, assist the accelerated program, I lost that thought for a second, but they can go into the classroom and they can work with the students, and some of them are working online. So we'll have to develop that particular partnership, and she'll have to let me know exactly what type of assistance they can,
Well,
they
we've
can
certainly
use.
got some retired folk in education that can lend a hand.
Right.
Might want to get out of the house. So.
Education, in the healthcare field, there are folks that volunteer at Lafayette General in a number of different areas, the gift shop, just directing people. They're at the, reception desk. Some of them end up doing light, secretarial work. It depends. The station more or less needs to put a little job description together.
Okay.
So when that volunteer goes to that particular station, they know exactly what's expected of them. So let's say, and it could be answering the telephone. Let's say too that maybe it's typing. Maybe that volunteer doesn't have all the typing skills. Well, it would be up to the station manager at that location to give some training to that particular individual. May take a little while, it depends, but once that person is trained, they can let them on their own to answer phone. Sometimes they'll stuff mails, prepare letters to go out. It's just a number of things they do. One of the other, in fact, a couple of other places, the Immaculate Heart of Mary and also Queen of Peace, both of those churches, while there's office work that some of them do, they mainly get together for the second harvest. They'll deliver food, provide that to the community as a whole, but they're also, it's seniors providing that to, other seniors as well. Some of the other things we're looking to do, the tutoring, spoke to another organization today. We'll schedule that meeting, because what this group does, they provide mentoring services and also they assist young folks in the community with their homework.
I saw a video of a little boy who was being assisted by an elder in the community, and I think part of it was improving his reading.
Yeah.
And this lady just took time with this child.
Well,
and that was just so gratifying to see.
The other thing, as seniors, we've been through it all. When we're coming around full circle, we're more patient as well. You're more in that relaxed mode. So the time when you get out,
Sometimes, I guess.
In most cases, you come out, you're very relaxed, and it's exciting because it gives you something to do. The other thing, I'm kind of laughing when I think about how they're excited and all. Every year, RSVP hosts a recognition luncheon for all the volunteers.
Right.
The last luncheon, and we've been having it on an annual basis at the River Oaks Catering Center. And we feed them. There's no charge for, the volunteers. However, if they'd like to bring a guest, there's a small little fee there. But
when does that happen
they'll
again?
get dressed up. March.
Okay.
And I already have it booked for next year.
All right.
And I'm going to put it out there. Spoke to First Lady Donna Edwards about being our guest speaker for this past.
That's the governor's wife.
The governor's wife. This past year, it was too late. Her schedule was already full. So we've already spoken to her, and she's like, just get it on my calendar, Susannah. If nothing, comes in the way, I'd be happy to be there. But again, it's an event where, the volunteers from the advisory council, they select the menu.
Okay.
They put everything together. They say what they want, and I just make it happen. But they get dressed up. We also recognize them, those folks that have been volunteering for years. And this past recognition luncheon, we did have one lady that has been volunteering for over 30 years.
Really?
Yes, so I've started giving out service pins so they can be recognized. Now I knew doing that for the first time, folks would kind of be left out because folks that have made like their 5-year anniversary were not recognized at that time because like they're in the 6th year, but 5-year was last year. And I'll say, you know what, don't worry, I'll make a point to get to everybody, so that they can give a pin. But we gave out the 30-year, the 25, 20, 15. I gave them out in 5-year increments, and they were so excited to get that.
To get anything,
to
just
get
thank
anything.
you.
Yes, just a thank you. And again, that's the blessing of it. That's why I call them volunteer jewels, because they volunteer out of the kindness and goodness of their heart, and they are looking to make their community better.
Now I know we have foster grandparents at
Yes.
Smile. Are they part
Well, they are part, now foster grandparent is still part of Senior Corps,
Okay.
but that program is under the Lafayette Council on Aging.
Okay.
But I think at the time when Immaculate Heart was closing, one of the folks from Smile, approached them and said, okay, we can use you guys in our shelter. So they brought them on board. And we don't compete. In fact, Ms. Dolores and I, we get along well. I just emceed her Sippin' Style fashion show. They had a fundraiser. So we partner, all the folks with Senior Corps, we get together on a quarterly basis. But like I was saying, with the foster grandparents, those individuals do get stipends.
Okay.
But they're at a max because they have a budget and they can only have so many volunteers based on their actual budget.
You know, I always say some of the best lessons in my life were learned at the feet of my elders.
Right. And that's what these guys are wanting to do.
And, you know, I can still learn a thing or two from the elders in the community. But if you're just joining us, we are here with Smile TV. Our very special guest today is Miss Susannah Malbreaux. We're talking about the RSVP program. It's a program where they're looking for volunteers. Now, if somebody's seeing the show today, how and what do they do?
If they're interested in volunteering or if they'd like to partner with us as a station, they can call area code 337-234-3272, extension 251.
All right, now I know that some of the volunteers help our younger mothers in the community. What do they do in that capacity?
Now, right at this particular time, I don't have anyone, but it would mainly be to help them with their children. Give them some guidance if they need to be there to help with the homework, any type of assistance that the young mother would need. So that's a place where we would need some volunteers, you know, at one of the shelters where they can get with the young mother and they can work with her and her children.
What about
so the need
veterans?
is out there. I was going to get to the veterans. We're not leaving the veterans out, and that's an area of opportunity for us because we're needing to get that relationship with the veterans. That's, you know, in fact, in partnership right now with the Imani Temple to provide legal services for veterans. So the members of the congregation there, the ones that are 55 and older, are in the process of filling out the enrollment form, and Pastor Milton will be putting the program together where he will, you know, provide those legal services to the veterans. Yeah. Yeah, so
That's
you know, we'll be
one.
ready to, yeah, and he offered it because we have a list of different, you know, areas where the station can identify their needs, and if it matches with the goals for RSVP, then that's a perfect match, you know, for us to partner.
You know, and I was going to say, you know, you go to some of these nonprofit organizations and, you know, you see people there that you've seen year after year after year. You know that they know what's going on.
Right, and you know, again, as I took over last year, that was right before the banquet, and I did MC and you know, got to meet a lot of folks, and as I'm up there on the mic, I'm looking out into the audience, and oh my God, did I not know a lot of the volunteers from my neighborhood, you know, and then they're coming up to me afterwards and, hey, Miss Susannah, hey, little Susannah, how's your mom? Everybody's like, everybody knows me growing up from, well, good thing I'm doing a good job, you know, because we were from that area, you know, everybody was watching what you were doing, you know, in the neighborhood. But it was great to see them and to know that they knew me and how they welcomed me, you know, into running the program for them and with them, you know, so it's a family. So like I said, we do have the recognition luncheon. One of the other big events, which is a fundraiser for the program, is to host the Connections for Independent Living Expo.
Okay.
And that comes up, we've had it like in November. This year it's going to be December 5th. And what happens, like I said, it's an expo, but it's vendors that provide services and assistance and information for seniors to help them to live independently, because as you start to get older, unfortunately your spouse or companion may have passed on, so some seniors are living by themselves. Their children are not with them.
And there are a lot of assisted living places.
There's a lot of assisted places, but when you're not ready to get there,
right,
and you want to stay in your home, as long as you're able to stay in your home, you know, then the vendors provide information for them. This past year, we had like the fire department that provided smoke detectors for them, install the smoke detectors for them, show them how to use the smoke detectors. And the majority we had over 40 vendors providing information, and I expect we'll have about the same, if not more. But just providing information for them, whether it's about Medicare, Medicaid, prescriptions, any type of assistance that they need. And one good thing about it, there's door prizes galore. Same thing at the luncheon. We always, get door prizes to give and show appreciation, and the companies are really excited to provide those door prizes. So when I think back with the expo, the folks could not wait to get to the booths to start getting, because at every table there's something, a gift or something for them in addition to the door prizes. So
and the lunch.
Right, and the lunch, because actually at the expo we do provide breakfast, and then we also provide lunch. It's only about 4 hours, and entertainment. Last year, Gloria Wheeler was able to secure Cupid. Joe Charles did exercising, the dancing, and everybody in the auditorium, was getting up, dancing, exercising, and doing the Cupid shuffle. And you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. I was tired. Of course, I'm walking around in boots. It was in the winter time, but they were just having a wonderful time.
Right.
So much.
It's so good when friends can get together with friends.
Yeah.
The elders in our community. Smile TV today with Susannah Malbreaux, and we're talking about the RSVP program. It's a volunteer program where you can make a difference in your community. So look in the camera one more time and tell them what we're looking for, who we're looking for, and how to get in touch with you.
Okay, we're looking for volunteers 55 years and older. You don't have to be retired, even though it is the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program. If you're interested, we'll just need you to come by the office, 501 St. John Street, and pick up a volunteer enrollment form. You can give us a call, 337-234-3272, extension 251. We'd be happy to fax an enrollment form to you, or we can email it to you just to get it in your hand. The enrollment period will go through October, or the campaign will go through October 31st, but our doors are open every day to enroll volunteers. So if you're with a nonprofit, church, hospital, and you've got programs where you feel you need assistance, give us a call, and we would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
And connect you maybe with somebody, right?
Yes, exactly. And see, that's the other thing too. Just like United Christian needed something, when an organization, a station, needs volunteers, they'll put in a request, let us know exactly what they would, need to do. We, right now, all volunteers are volunteering at one particular area, which is why we need a pool of volunteers.
So far, Susannah, how many volunteers would you say are on board?
Well, right now, 227 is what we have on board. Now, all are not volunteering. Some are a little inactive because, as I said, some of them are getting older, which is why we're looking to reach out to the baby boomers, the folks 55 years and older, because I just indicated, this Miss Como has been volunteering for over 30-some years. She's like 90-something, and she is still volunteering. So at some point she's still getting up, still going to her station, but starting to slow down a little bit. So we need somebody younger to pick up her slack, and she would love for you to pick up her slack.
Wonderful. Well, we love the program. We love what you do. The recruitment goes on until October
31st, yes.
234-3272, extension 251. If you're interested in being a part of that wonderful, wonderful program. Thank you so much for the information.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on and sharing with us, and God bless you. God bless all our seniors and our elders in the community.
Exactly.
Keep getting up. As long as God lets your feet hit the floor in the morning, keep getting up. And that's our message to you. That's going to wrap it up for our program for today, and we'll be back again next time with another show and something else. In the meantime, I'm Porsha Evans for Smile TV and A Place to Call Home.